Welcome everyone to today's lesson, and we're going to be having a look at tracing. You might also hear about this as hand tracing on some documents. We're going to be referring to it as tracing for today's lesson. Now, as a programmer or as a software engineer or as a coder, whatever you want to call yourself, there are certain techniques which you can use to be able to see whether your program works the way that you intended. Now, this isn't a reflection of how good of a programmer you are, but most likely in your lifetime you will have plenty of errors in your programs, in the programs that you write. And it's important that you do the right thing at the right time to minimize the chances of greater errors in the future, or further along in the pipeline for the project. So tracing is basically looking at the algorithm line by line, so not looking at the whole algorithm as a whole, but reading the algorithm line by line just like a compiler would, and testing to see if it's working the way you intended. Okay, so we're going to have a look at a very basic algorithm here. So the first step to do is to have a look at which variables are available to you. And once you see that, we're going to list them here on the table on the right. So we have the variable A, we have the variable B, we have the variable C, and we have a variable I over here for the for loop, in case you didn't see it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at this algorithm line by line, just like I said. So on the first line here, A is being assigned to 0. So we're going to write the state of this variable right here on the first row as 0. We can see on the second line, B is being assigned to 0. So we're going to set the B to 0 over here. So this is telling us its current state, or what data is in the variable at any given time. For the third line, C is being assigned to 0 here. And then on the fourth line, we have a for loop, which is starting from 0. So I is being assigned to 0 here, like so. And it's running to 2, but because I hasn't been incremented to 2 yet, we're not going to be writing that on the table on the right hand side. Now, inside the for loop, we can see that A is being assigned to another value now. So we have A is being assigned to whatever A is plus I. Okay, so this is A plus I, and if I look at my table here, we have A is being set to 0, or its current state is 0, and I's current state is 0. So this is basically assigned to A 0 plus 0. So A is still 0 over here. The same thing is happening for B. So we have B plus I. We know B to be 0, I to be 0. So 0 plus 0 is going to give us 0 as well. Then we have C is being assigned to C plus I plus B. So we have C as a 0, I as a 0, and B as a 0. So obviously this is going to be 0 right here. Now what happens is, because the loop is still running, so I is now going to be incremented to 1, but because we have moved up in the lines of code, we're going to write the value for I on the next row here, like so. Now, A is being assigned to A plus I, so A is currently 0, I is currently 1, so that's going to be 0 plus 1, and we're going to put a 1 right here on the column for A. The same thing is going to happen for B, so B is going to be set to 1 like so. C is going to be set to C, which is 0, plus I, which is 1, plus B, which is 1, so C is assigned to the number 2. Now we iterate the loop again, and we increment I to 2, and we know the loop is going to run this time, because we said we need the for loop to run all the way up to when I is 2, so this is the last time it's going to run. So A is going to be assigned to A plus I, so we know A is 1, I is 2, so that's going to put A to 3. B is going to be set to the same thing. B is assigned to B plus I, that's 1 plus 2 equals 3. And C is going to be assigned to C, which is currently 2, I, which is currently 2, and plus B, which is currently 3, which is going to set C to 7, like this. So what we've done is we have traced through this program, and at the end of the program here, or at the end of the algorithm, we are aware of what the states or what is inside each variable at the end. So at the end of this program, A is going to be set to 3, B is going to be set to 3, and C is going to be set to 7. Alright, now in the next part we're going to have a look at a few more algorithms, and you'll see this in a greater example.